They say every country has a soul, a hidden rhythm that beats quietly behind the noise of its cities and the stillness of its mountains. Vietnam's soul, however, is unlike any other. When you arrive, you don't feel it in the grand monuments or the textbook gestures of history. No more, you feel it in the small, fleeting moments like the steam rising from a bowl of pH in the crisp morning air, or the faint echo of a traditional lullaby drifting across a village courtyard. To understand why Vietnam is a place every traveler dreams of, you have to look beyond the landscapes and even the food. You have to start with the rhythm of daily life itself, because it's so that the nation reveals its most enchanting truths. Imagine, for a moment, the first day of your journey. The sun is rising over Hanoi, painting the tiled roofs in shades of gold and the amber. A woman in a conical hat cycles slowly past, her baskets overflowing with fresh herbs, their fragrance filling the streets. Nearby, the laughter of children echoes against old French villas, and the scent of strong coffee mingles with the sharp aroma of chili and the garlic. It feels timeless, as if centuries have folded into this single morning. This is the quiet power of Vietnam. It doesn't rush to impress you. It simply breathes, and invites you to breathe with it. Perhaps its greatest secret lies in how seamlessly the ancient and the modern coexist. One moment, you're standing in the shadow of a thousand-year-old pagoda, the smoke from incense curling like whispers from the past. The next, you're crossing a buzzing street filled with the neon glow of karaoke bars, motorbikes weaving past you like streams of light. Other countries have history, of course, but Vietnam wears its past like a living garment, stitching it into every corner of its present. That's why travelers return again and again, not for a single sight, but for the way life itself becomes a story here. And what a story it is! For centuries, this land has been a crossroads of empires, trade, and faith. The Chinese, the French, the Cham, the Khmer all left their traces, like threads in an intricate tapestry. But Vietnam didn't lose itself in these layers. Instead, it transformed them, weaving them into something entirely its own. The language carries echoes of classical Chinese, the architecture holds hints of French elegance, yet the heart remains undeniably Vietnamese. To travel here is not just to see a country, but to witness resilience written into the very fabric of its culture. You might wonder why I speak of Vietnam as if I've lived these moments myself, and in truth, they feel as if they are mine. You remember sitting at a roadside stall one humid evening, listening to the hiss of hot oil as and XO crackled on the pan. In that moment, you realized the flavors carried history just as much as the old temples did. Food here isn't just sustenance, it's a conversation across generations, between the past and the present, between the land and its people. If you stay long enough, you'll see that every traveler is drawn into that conversation. As we continue this journey together, uncovering the secrets of Vietnam's landscapes, its food, and its people, I invite you to walk with me, to listen with me. If these words have sparked your curiosity, let them not be the last. There is so much more to discover, so many stories waiting to be told. So if you want to travel further with me into the living heart of Vietnam, I welcome you. Stay close, and consider subscribing, so our path doesn't end here. Because this is only the beginning. If life in Vietnam begins with the rhythm of its mornings, then it finds its heartbeat in the food. To eat here is to step into a story that stretches far beyond the table, a story whispered through the fragrance of star anise and the tang of fish sauce, through the crunch of fresh herbs and the warmth of steaming rice. Dining in Vietnam isn't just about hunger, it's an act of belonging. For centuries, families have gathered around low wooden tables, not just to share food, but to share life itself. Each dish, no matter how simple, carries with it the memory of the land, of the harvest, of ancestors who once tilled the soil. Picture this. You're seated at a small table in a narrow alley in Hue, the old imperial capital. Before you is a tray of tiny porcelain dishes, banh bao, delicate rice cakes topped with dried shrimp and the crispy shallots. To taste it is to taste history, as Hue's cuisine reflects a royal tradition of refinement and balance. But even this elegance was born from struggle. During times of war and hardship, the people turned simplicity into artistry, transforming humble rice and shrimp into something fit for a king. That's the beautiful paradox of Vietnamese food, it's humble, yet majestic. Now, let's head south to the bustling markets of Saigon. Here, the flavors are bold, confident, and unapologetically alive. Bowls of hot tea simmer beside piles of tropical fruits so vivid they seem almost unreal, sweet, dripping mangoes and the dragon fruit glowing like fire. Vendors call out, motorbikes roar past, and yet, amidst all the chaos, there's an incredible harmony. It's as if every taste, every sound, every calorie served to remind you that life is meant to be savored. But perhaps the most enchanting discovery isn't in restaurants or markets, but in the kitchens of ordinary homes. Step into a village house in the Red River Delta, and you'll see a grandmother stirring a pot of chan kua. Her hands move with the ease of 100 repetitions, her recipe learned not from books, but from memory and the laugh. There are no more precise measurements here, only instinct and the tradition. It's in these quiet kitchens that the true soul of Vietnamese food resides. And when you sit at such a table, you're not just a guest. For that moment, you're family. You start to realize this is why so many people return to Vietnam. The landscapes may dazzle, the temples may but it's the food that holds you, like an invisible thread pulling you back again and again. Because food here isn't a spectacle for tourists, it's a living, breathing expression of culture. If this journey through the kitchens and the markets of Vietnam has stirred something within you, don't let it fade. Stay with me, because more secrets are yet to unfold. If you'd like to keep exploring, hit that subscribe button and join me as we uncover what lies beyond the table. Vietnam's story is far from over, and so is ours. Thanks for watching. If food is the heartbeat of Vietnam, then its landscapes are the very breath. With every inhale, the land gives life. With every exhale, it tells a story. So many of us come here chasing images we've seen in photographs, those terraced rice fields carved into the mountains of Sapa, like giant green stairways to the heavens, or the limestone pillars of Ha Long Bay rising from the mist like the ruins of an ancient forgotten kingdom. But here's the thing, photographs, no more matter how beautiful, can't capture the feeling of standing right there, of being surrounded by a silence so vast it feels sacred. Let's talk about the rice terraces for a moment. Every curve of ours, every shimmering step filled with water, wasn't shaped by machines. It was shaped by generations of hands, by families who worked this very soil year after year, carving art out of necessity. When you walk those narrow paths, you were not just seeing beauty, you were feeling the weight of time pressing into the ground beneath your feet. You start to realize that these landscapes aren't static wonders. They are living monuments, sustained by the labor of those who call them home. It's an incredibly humbling experience. Or think about the Mekong Delta, a place where the river splits into 1,000 veins, carrying with it not just water, but entire worlds of life. Here, mornings begin on floating markets, with boats piled high with coconuts, pineapples, and melons, their colors so bright against the soft haze of dawn. You hear voices calling across the water, the gentle slap of oars against the current, and for a moment, you forget the world you left behind. The Mekong isn't just a river, it's an ancient lifeline, whispering the same song it has sung for centuries. It's a rhythm of life that pulls you in completely. And then there's Hai An, the town where time itself seems to slow down. At night, lanterns sway gently in the breeze, casting golden reflections on the Su Bay and river. You can walk its narrow streets past houses painted in that iconic ochre yellow, and you feel as though you've stepped inside a dream, one that began hundreds of years ago when merchants from Japan, China, and Europe gathered right here. Hai An isn't a museum, it's a living memory, where every stone and every lantern tells of connections that still echo today. It's pure magic. But Vietnam's landscapes aren't only about beauty, they are about resilience. This country has endured so much wars, storms, and the hardship, and still, the land continues to give. The mountains remain unbroken, the rivers unyielding, the rice fields fertile. To stand in these places is to feel a quiet strength, as if the earth itself is reminding you that survival and the grace can and do exist side by side. It's a powerful lesson in perseverance. It's in these landscapes that travelers often discover something completely unexpected, not just admiration, but humility. You begin to see that Vietnam doesn't try to dazzle you with over-the-top grandeur. It simply invites you to witness, to breathe, to walk slowly enough to truly notice. And in that simple act of noticing, something changes within you. It's a feeling that stays with you long after you've gone. So, as we continue this journey together, I hope these words bring the landscapes of Vietnam a little closer to you, even across the distance. And if you find yourself wanting to see more, to walk deeper into these valleys, rivers, and the streets with me, then stick around for this story. You might even want to subscribe, so that when the next chapter arrives, you won't be left behind. Because believe me, Vietnam still holds secrets the land has not yet revealed, and I promise they are worth waiting for. Thanks for watching. What truly makes Vietnam unforgettable isn't just the incredible food or the breathtaking landscapes. It's the people, the ones who breathe life into everything you see and taste. Every street corner has a vendor who greets you with a genuine smile. Every bustling market echoes with laughter between the stalls. Every village holds ancient stories, passed down by elders beneath the shade of a banyan tree. As a traveler, you quickly realize that while temples and the rivers shape the spirit of the land, it's the warmth of its people that shapes the memory you carry home. There's a saying here, Kachahaan and he kanenagram tier tiejaru. It means that when a guest arrives, the host must always offer something tea, if not wine, hospitality, if not luxury. This spirit of welcome isn't just a saying, it's woven into the fabric of daily life. Imagine this, you step into a stranger's home in the countryside, and they offer you a bowl of rice, even if it's the last one they have. You share a drink in the city, and you leave not as a visitor, but as a new friend. Hospitality here isn't a performance, it's simply a way of life, an authentic and heartfelt gesture. But perhaps what's most moving is the incredible resilience of the Vietnamese people. They've endured centuries of struggle, from foreign invasions to natural disasters, yet they don't carry bitterness on their faces. Instead, they laugh, they sing, and they build again and again, with unwavering strength. You see this spirit in the farmers who tend their fields at the break of dawn, in the children running barefoot and carefree through the alleyways, and in the young entrepreneurs who are brilliantly transforming old traditions into new dreams. The spirit of Vietnam isn't one of defeat, it is one of constant renewal and hope. Travelers who come to Vietnam expecting only to see beauty often leave with something far deeper, a profound sense of connection. Here, every encounter feels personal and meaningful. A bowl of noodles isn't just a meal, it's a story told with passion by the cook who prepared it. A boat ride isn't just a journey, it's a quiet lesson in patience from the ferryman guiding you along the water. A simple conversation is never just an exchange of words, it's an invitation into a life that, for a brief, wonderful moment, you get to share. And that's why, when people say they want to return, it isn't just to see more of the country. It's to feel that sense of belonging once again, to feel welcome somewhere so far from home. Vietnam has a unique way of drawing you in, not with grand spectacle, but with quiet gestures, small kindnesses, and the persistent feeling that there's always a seat for you at the table. This is the truth of Vietnam, a country where the past and the present walk hand in hand, where the land and its people whisper stories to anyone willing to listen. It's a place where every traveler can find not just a destination, but a reflection of themselves. As we close this journey together, please know that the story doesn't end here. There are countless more tales waiting to be discovered in hidden alleys, forgotten temples, and with every unheard voice. If you'd like to walk further down this path with me and hear the next chapter when it arrives, then I invite you to subscribe and stay close. Together, we can continue to uncover the secrets of this incredible land. Because Vietnam isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to return to, again and again.